Hello, I am Majid 2006. Welcome to the channel What We Are Why. The acts of service love language can be a tricky one. Sometimes date night just isn't enough. Knowing your partner's love language can serve as a window into how they give and receive love. For people who love with acts of service, love is not felt as much with abstract words and intention as it is with visible action and follow-through. People feel loved in various ways. For some, feeling loved goes beyond merely hearing the words, "I love you." Everyone speaks a different love language, and discovering what they respond to strengthens the bonds between you and your loved ones. Why is knowing your love language important? We all have different emotional needs, and we all express and receive love differently. So if you're not speaking the same love language as your partner, there's a good chance that your needs are going unmet, and that can lead to all sorts of relationship problems down the line. By understanding your own love language, as well as your partner's, you can make a conscious effort to speak their language and show them love in a way that they'll understand and appreciate. And that can make a world of difference in your relationship. Your partner could be saying, "I love you," by making sure you have enough gas in your car and washing it for you, acts of service. But if your love language is quality time, and your partner is spending time away from you, you could both become frustrated by this situation. What is the acts of service love language? The acts of service love language is all about doing things to help your partner feel loved, supported, and appreciated. Dr. Gary Chapman, who first hypothesized the theory of different love languages in his best-selling book, The 5 Love Languages, defines a love language as the particular way you receive and express love in your relationships. Love languages exist in all types of relationships, including those with your significant other and loved ones such as family and friends. When receiving love, you usually have one preferred, primary love language, though you may respond to more than one. It is the epitome of actions speak louder than words. The 5 love languages are acts of service, physical touch, quality time, words of affirmation, receiving gifts. Keep in mind, this isn't about doing things out of obligation, or to bank up points for your own gain. This is a way of showing love and affection, and expressing how much your partner means to you. I'm going to share with you some ways to love those with an acts of service love language. Loving your partner is easy, but loving your partner in a way that she feels loved is a little trickier. Dr. Gary Chapman developed the 5 love languages so that people could improve their love lives. These languages are categorized in ways that every person expresses and receives love: physical touch, quality time, acts of service, receiving gifts, and words of affirmation. Communicating our love language will help us know what we expect from a love pairing and what our partner can do to make us feel secure in love. The acts of service love language symbolizes that this individual feels the most loved and expresses their love by doing things that will improve their partner's life. While going through the list, remember that an act of service is about more than doing household chores, delivering on some high-octane grand gesture, or how much one can accommodate their every desire to please them. It's really about going after a much more emotionally subtle feeling where they feel like they can trust you to have their back, for the small and the big things. Quality time means giving our undivided attention to our partner, without distractions from work or other obligations. Receiving gifts is about showing our affection through thoughtful presence. Acts of service speaks to doing things that show we care about our partner's happiness and well-being. Physical touch involves expressing our love through non-sexual physical contact, such as hugging or holding hands. Learning about the different love languages can be incredibly beneficial in helping us to understand our own needs and how to better express our love for others. However, it's also important to remember that love is not a one-size-fits-all concept. What works for one couple may not work for another, and it's important to find what works best for you and your partner by talking about your own needs and understanding of love. Here are 28+ acts of service examples and ideas you can use to start meeting your partner's needs today. Keep in mind, you don't need to make a big grand gesture to express love. Oftentimes it's the small gestures that go a long way in romantic relationships, and these specific acts of service ideas will hopefully give you some inspiration. Pick up their favorite snack when shopping for groceries. Surprise them at work by bringing them lunch and include their favorite treat. Write them a love note and leave it somewhere they'll find it. Pick up a guilty pleasure snack as a surprise. Do the grocery shopping. Learn their favorite recipe for a surprise date. Open the door for them. Make reservations for a date night. Fix breakfast to serve in bed before they wake up. Run a bath for them. Choose activities to do together that they love. Make sure their phone is charged before they leave for work. Randomly take them out to their favorite restaurant after a long day. Do a task they've been putting off. Get tickets to their favorite concert or show. Preemptively buy toiletries or household items before supplies go low. Make a donation to their favorite charity in their name. Play their favorite music in the house. Do one of their chores, even when it's their turn. Bring them flowers, just because. Give them a massage when they're feeling stressed. Complete a task on their to-do list. Book a massage during vacation so they can relax. Pick a vacation spot they've always wanted to go to. Do their preferred date activity, even if it's not your first choice. Give them a day off from work. Listen when they're talking about the things they have to do, and do something from that list. Ask them what you can do to make their day easier and do it. How to give an act of service. When thinking about acts of service, think about how you can improve their quality of life by planning ahead or freeing up their time to spend on other things, advises psychotherapist Kira Yakubov, LMFT. It shows that there's been consideration for their needs and that you're doing things to put a smile on their face. This can range from small acts such as making a coffee to go for them in the morning to save a few minutes to putting jumper cables and a backup battery in their car. Colico says it is highly beneficial to explore and inquire into what they're specifically looking for. Be mindful and recognize what your partner states that they appreciate, what they don't enjoy doing, as well as observing how they live their daily life in action. Tip: pay attention to things your partner says they don't enjoy doing or don't have time for. This can be small acts like making the bed every morning or brewing their morning coffee. This will show your partner you pay close attention to their needs and are willing to make their life a little easier. Dating someone whose love language is acts of service. Yakubov recommends a few tips for fostering intimacy with this type of love language. 1. Creatively anticipate their needs. Look out for the small things that would brighten their day by meeting a future needs of theirs, such as packing them an umbrella when it might rain or bringing snacks to a long event, Yakubov suggests. Broaden what you can do for them by filtering it through what they would appreciate. By focusing too much on fulfilling stereotypical domestic responsibilities, we run the risk of missing out on what they really need. 2. Show gratitude for their acts of service for you. Express your appreciation for their acts of service toward you. Even if their love language is not words of affirmation, showing their actions are noticed and appreciation goes a long way, she says. It's always good to practice showing our partner love in a multitude of ways. 3. Follow through on your commitments. Since they're hyper-focused on acts of service, they want to know they can rely on their partner to see the commitment through. If it doesn't happen, they can become resentful or disappointed. If they ask you to help with something and you agree, make sure you deliver on the promise. 4. Be hypervigilant and listen to their complaints. People tend to criticize their spouse the loudest in the area where they have an emotional need. If that's the case, what do you notice they complain about the most? How can you bring support to those areas? Final thoughts. No matter what your love language is, it's important to remember that we all have different ways of expressing and receiving love, which are explained through different love languages. What might be a small gesture to you could mean the world to your partner. Similarly, what means a lot to you might not mean as much to them. The key is to communicate with each other and find out what makes the other person feel loved and appreciated. In this video, I discussed the most important and practical information about the language of love. By doing the things I said, you can transform your life. All the mentioned items are the latest scientific update of the psychology of relationships. Now, if you want to be successful in romantic relationships and know more, subscribe to my channel. I made many tutorials for you. I will kiss you, my dear.